Welcome to theme 11 of participatory fluency. In this theme, we're going to talk about politeness, formality, emphasis, and identity. If we approach the concept of formality, there are many things that can be said. Either if you're in a work context or in a context of family, formality may be required of you because of the circumstances of interaction. If you're talking to your family, you're more likely to be formal because certain things are attributed to the context of interacting with your family. Not saying swear words, not talking about many deeply personal subjects, avoiding certain discussions, avoiding certain kinds of language, and even little things that we do that tell the speaker and the listener that they are safe to interact and that it is going to be a pleasurable experience, and they can both talk as much as they can as long as they respect certain kinds of formality rules. In the workplace, it's a little bit different because you have certain demands that need to be met, but the concept of formality is very much present when you talk about daily tasks, when you talk about conversations you have on a daily basis, and especially when you attribute certain tasks for you to do. You have to be formal, but you have to be polite also. That's why politeness is connected to formality. When you make a request, you need to be formal because then the person is more likely to take you as a person who has good intentions. It's completely natural to be requesting for things without being formal. It's completely natural to say, can you do me a favor? And this is not so much a formal request. This is a simple request. But if you write down an email and say, I would like to communicate that we will have a certain deadline to follow in regards to the task that is being proposed by the company X that we're in talks with, and the deadline is this. I would like to inform that we will be receiving your work samples at this date, and you should be completing this form, making sure that there are no errors. Pay attention to the following attributes: clarity of speech, overall message, values in the company, values of the proposal, and overall mission that has been established in our meetings. Good luck, and I'll see you when we meet again. When you have an email like this, of course it's an example, but when you have an email like this, you have a lot of formality. It's different than your boss asking, can you do me a favor? I need to edit this image so that we can fit this into the brochure that will be part of the presentation for the client. And I don't know how to do this. Can you help me out? Like it's the resolution. I don't know where to find this. And then the person can turn to you and say, well, just Google it. If you say this specifically, you're not being very polite. Or if you say, you know you can find this on Google, right? If you say this, you're not being very polite. But you can simply give the answer to what the person is requesting and avoid shaming the person for not knowing how to do a search or being not thinking about doing a search on their own. But you can just give the answer, help each other out, and things will be okay. But you see, formality and politeness are a lot interconnected. So depending on the situation, you'll find yourself being formal but not polite. For example, uh, it has come to my attention that some of the employees have been coming into work at later times. I'm sorry to inform, but this extra time that you're spending traveling or on commute is going to be discounted on your payroll. This is a definitive decision. Yours, your boss. So this is a message that is not at all polite, but it's a tone that has to be used to reprehend the people who have been deviating from the rules. So this kind of language is, in this example, formal but not polite. A polite message would be, Dear John, I noticed that you've been getting late a lot, and I would like to discuss this with you because we seem to be having a problem. I'm sure you can talk about your issues in a conversation with me one-on-one. Do you want to schedule a meeting? I'm waiting for your reply. So in this case, you're being formal and you're being polite. Being informal and being polite would be like asking, are you okay? I noticed you're late today. So you're saying, are you okay? In this case, you're being informal, but you're being polite. You're worried about the person. You're not reprehending, you're not saying anything like this, but you're merely talking about the situation, inquiring what is going on, saying something because you're concerned for the person and for the overall operations of the company. So in this case, it's informal and polite request. Informal and impolite would be something like this. Well, oh, come on, John, you're late again. Look at what time it is. Come on, hurry up. And if you say something like this, you're being informal and impolite, which is not recommended. But there are also other cases to investigate. We said that we were going to talk about politeness, formality, emphasis, and identity. Emphasis is something that we talked about a little bit in these examples. Identity comes with a different kind of situation in mind. When you talk about your identity, you're talking about the vocabulary that you're going to use, which is going to vary for different groups of people and for different kinds of positions at work, for different kinds of family situations and roles. So your identity will be constructing your speech as you speak, and if you're the conversation between a father and son will be one. The father will have more authority than the son, and the son will tend to listen. This is about your identity. Conversation between two friends will be more closely connected and paired and simplified and similar. So they can be informal, they can be sometimes impolite because they're joking, and there can be many situations where they can fool around with each other but still maintain a friendship and talk about like, oh come on, are you serious that you said this? You're such an asshole. And excuse me for the word, but if you say this to a friend, you're calling them out for something they said, but you can say something like, you're such a jerk. It's another word that we have. but there are many words that we can use, and this will vary in terms of your identity, because if you're outside of a formal situation, there are many things that you can use in the English language and in urban English that will dictate how you will talk to people in general. So if you're outside of the workspace, outside of the family situations, and for example in an internet context, you'll find that people will expand their vocabulary a lot more, and sometimes will not treat you or others with respect. It's up to you to make a commentary about something like this or stay out of it. It depends on what each person wants to do with their social media presence. Now, the emphasis is about how much of a problem, or how much of a passion you have about something. If you say something like this, I would really appreciate if you helped me with this. I don't know what to do. This is a formal request, and this is something that you are saying to a coworker, for example. But if you're being informal, you can say, please help me out with this. I don't know what to do. I'm freaking out here. Please help me out. Please, I'm begging you. And then when you say this, you're emphasizing the fact that you need help. So this is a little bit more flexibility with the language, with the context in which you are making your interactions float around, and making yourself understood in both the context of work, family, and friendships, and also navigating social media. I think this covers it. The next section we're talking about interaction, correction, awareness, and purpose. This will be our last section, and the rest of the materials will be available in the course book for you to study. Take care.